Let me tell you a story. It starts with a guy who's super passionate about his project, then gets a permanent ban from Reddit, and it ends with a little peek into the future of artificial intelligence. This, right here, is the story of DMOS. So it all kicks off right here. You have a creator, he's been working for 9 months on his project, and he's totally stoked to share it with the Dungeons & Dragons community. He posts about it on the main D&D subreddit, and bam, almost right away, he gets this message: permanently banned. He's confused, obviously. He tries to explain, all the really hard technical problems his project is trying to solve, problems that players complain about constantly. He's trying to say, hey, this isn't just another low-effort AI art post, this is about logic. And the response he gets back from the moderator? Well, it's not exactly helpful. It's just this: what the hell are you yapping about, bro?
And that is the big question, isn't it? What was this creator actually building, and why was all this yapping so completely misunderstood when it might, just might, be the key to a whole new kind of AI?
All right, so what was all the yapping about? Let's get into what was really going on here. Because his post wasn't spam, and it wasn't just some lazy self-promotion like the mods seem to think. Nope. He was actually tackling a really deep, really common problem in the community. It's a problem that every single D&D player who's ever tried to get a group together knows all too well: the scheduling nightmare. See, this wasn't about building just another AI chatbot. This was about solving a huge problem with just being able to play the game at all. It was about solving what I like to call the 2 a.m. problem. And this quote just nails it, right? Getting schedules to line up is a nightmare. Groups fall apart all the time, and sometimes you just want to dive into a really deep, meaningful campaign, but on your own time. The problem was, all the tools out there, these so-called AI dungeon masters, they just weren't very good. And this is where you really see the difference. On one hand, you've got your standard AI DMs. They're fun for like 5 minutes, but they forget major plot points. The characters are basically cardboard cutouts, and nothing you do really matters. It's all just fluff. But on the other hand, you have this guy's vision, an AI with a memory that actually sticks around, where characters feel like real, simulated people, and the world remembers every single thing you do. It's about logic instead of fluff. So how do you even begin to turn that vision of a logic-first AI into something real? Well, you build something from scratch that's designed to be a true simulation, not just a storyteller. You build a living world. He called it DMOS, and the name itself is a huge clue. It's an operating system for a dungeon, a whole world engine built to create a persistent, reactive, and super deep role-playing experience. At the heart of this whole thing is a silent process called the chronicler. Think of it like the world's subconscious. While you're off doing your thing, it's in the background simulating what everyone else is doing. Factions are scheming, villains are moving their evil plots forward, and these progress clocks are literally ticking down on big events like a spreading plague or an impending invasion. The world doesn't just sit around and wait for you, it lives. And the people in this world, they're not just puppets. Every important character is generated with something called narrative DNA. That means they get a unique backstory, a core belief that was shaped by that past, and a behavioral scar that affects how they act now. So you might meet a blacksmith who survived a dragon attack. He might totally distrust adventurers because he thinks the last group of heroes abandoned his village. He's not just a shopkeeper, he's a simulated person with real memories and biases. Okay, so this all sounds amazing, but here's the billion-dollar question. How do you actually build an AI that can remember all of this stuff? And this is where the project goes from being a cool D&D tool to, honestly, a groundbreaking piece of technology. This is about building an AI that never, ever forgets. So, most AIs you talk to, like the big chatbots, are stateless. It's kind of like they have amnesia. Every single time you talk to them, it's a completely fresh start. They have no deep long-term memory. But DMOS is stateful. It's built from the ground up to hold on to a detailed history so it can keep perfect context over hundreds, even thousands of interactions. And the engine that makes this all possible is this incredibly sophisticated control layer called the WFYG Universal Unification Framework. Yeah, I know, that is a total mouthful. But trust me, what it actually does is seriously revolutionary. Okay, this looks complicated, but let's just break it down into simple terms. This framework has 4 main jobs. The anchor, well, it's an anchor. It keeps the AI from just drifting off into nonsense. The explorer thinks through a bunch of different options before picking the best one. The focus lens helps it zero in on important details from way back in your story. And my favorite is the failsafe. It's like the AI's own internal fact checker. If it senses that it's about to say something that makes no sense, a hallucination, it stops and forces itself to try again. It's an AI with its own quality control.
But here's the part that's truly mind-blowing: how it learns. The system has something called a scar ledger. Whenever the AI makes a logical mistake, it doesn't just forget about it. That failure gets recorded as a scar. And that scar creates this mathematical repulsive field that literally pushes the AI away from making that same type of mistake ever again. It is an AI that literally, mathematically learns from its own pain. It's wild.
I mean, this level of tech is incredible for just one indie creator. But here's the thing. He wasn't entirely alone on this journey. The open source community played a huge role in getting up this mountain. He used this really powerful phrase to describe his work on the memory problem. He said he felt like he was halfway up the monolithic research mountain. And it was right there, in this perfect moment of open source luck, that he found out he wasn't the only one climbing. The person who actually created that WFGY framework, a user named OneStarDAO, happened to see the DMOS project. They realized they were both trying to solve the exact same problem from different angles, and they generously shared all their research. And that collaboration was the final piece of the puzzle. It fused this custom-built narrative engine with a proven, rock-solid memory system. So you might be thinking, okay, this is an amazing project, but is it just a niche tool for a few hardcore D&D players? Nope, not even close. This is tapping into a huge and fast-growing market, the future of solo play.
Get ready for this number. The global market for tabletop role-playing games is projected to be worth over $6.5 billion by 2035. And a massive driver of that growth is people looking for solo play experiences and AI companions that can give them that deep, story-rich experience that DMOS delivers.
So let's wrap this all up. Why does this whole story matter? Because DMOS isn't just a game. It's pointing towards a new standard for AIs that can actually remember. It's meeting this huge demand for what some people are calling memory-first AI. It proves that one passionate person can build something that solves problems even the giant tech labs are struggling with. And it shows that what that Reddit mod brushed off as yapping was actually a pretty detailed roadmap to the future of how we play.
And all this leaves us with one final, kind of wild question to chew on. We are walking into a world where our digital companions can have perfect, persistent memories of our shared history. So when an AI remembers your story, your choices, your promises, better than you do, what does that change? About your relationship with it? About everything?